They say age takes everything from a man, his strength, his speed, even his sex drive. But the truth is, what's slowly destroying your manhood after 60 isn't just time, it's what you're eating. And most men have no idea that the very seafood they think is keeping them healthy is quietly robbing them of their energy, circulation, and performance, especially down there. I'm Dr. James. I've spent over 30 years helping men just like you, men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, reclaim their vitality, restore their confidence, and revive their intimacy. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to tell you the truth, the kind your doctor doesn't have time to explain. Because here's the problem. Not all seafood is created equal. Some of it is packed with toxins, heavy metals, and hidden compounds that trigger joint pain, cholesterol spikes, gut inflammation, and erectile decline. But the good news, there are 4 powerful marine foods that do the exact opposite. They fight inflammation, restore blood flow, rebuild cartilage, and help bring back the kind of strength you haven't felt in years. In today's video, I'll show you the 4 worst seafoods every man over 60 should never touch again. And the 4 you absolutely must eat to stay strong, sharp, and sexually alive. And the final one I'll reveal may be the most healing, collagen-rich food on earth. But most men have never even tried it. Stay with me. You're about to see what's really on your plate and what it's doing to the man you used to be. Before we dive in, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss another truth about what's really affecting your strength, circulation, and vitality after 60. And if this message speaks to you already, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I read every response and your feedback helps me serve you better. Alright, now let's get into it. We'll start with the 4 worst seafoods every man over 60 should avoid immediately. These aren't just bad for your heart, but they attack your joints, weaken your kidneys, spike your cholesterol, and silently choke the blood flow to your most important organ. If you've been eating these, thinking they were healthy, you're not alone, but after today, you'll know better. Let's begin with the first one. 1. Shrimp, the silent cholesterol bomb. I remember sitting across from a 72-year-old patient, Tom, who looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I eat clean. Mostly seafood, lots of shrimp. I thought I was doing everything right." What he didn't know, and what most men don't, is that shrimp, despite its light and innocent appearance, can quietly undo everything you're trying to protect. Just 3 ounces of shrimp, about what you'd toss into a stir-fry or salad, carries nearly 180 milligrams of cholesterol. That might not mean much until you realize that's over 60% of the recommended daily limit for someone your age. And here's where it gets dangerous. After 60, your liver doesn't process fats like it used to. That cholesterol isn't just passing through. It lingers. It stiffens your arteries, it slows your blood flow, and for a man, nothing depends more on clean, open blood vessels than your ability to get and keep an erection. But that's just the start. Shrimp contains a muscle protein called tropomyosin that becomes harder to digest as we age, triggering inflammation in the gut and immune reactions in the bloodstream. Even if you've never had an allergy in your life, shrimp can turn on you in your later years. It can bloat your belly, tighten your chest, and slowly reduce sensitivity in ways you might not even notice until it's too late. And then there's the farming problem. Most shrimp today are imported and treated with antibiotics banned in the US, which disrupt your gut bacteria, weaken testosterone, and silently feed the very decline you're trying to fight. Now, if shrimp shocked you, just wait until you hear what's lurking inside that bright red imitation crab stick. What you think is seafood might not even be food at all. 2. Imitation crab, the processed imposter. A man once told me, "I don't eat a lot of junk, Doc. I stick with seafood. Like that crab in my California rolls. It's got to be better than red meat, right?" I hated to break it to him, but that crab he trusted wasn't crab at all. It was imitation crab, a processed mix of fish paste, starch, sugar, salt, and artificial flavorings molded to look like the real thing. And for older men, this imposter does far more harm than anyone realizes. Imitation crab spikes your blood sugar almost as fast as white bread. That might not matter much in your 30s, but after 60, when insulin resistance creeps in and your pancreas tires more easily, this can be dangerous. A 2020 study found that older adults who ate surimi-based products like imitation crab had more than double the insulin levels of those who didn't. That's not just a number on a chart, that's more belly fat, more fatigue, and more trouble keeping your blood flowing where it needs to go most. And the sodium? It's sky high. Just one serving can carry over 700 milligrams, and that's before you even dip it in soy sauce. High sodium tightens your blood vessels, raises your blood pressure, and reduces the elasticity your arteries need to perform, especially in moments of intimacy. The more you eat it, the more it chips away at your energy, your performance, and your confidence. The worst part? You're eating it thinking it's good for you, that it's lean, that it's safe. But not all seafood is created equal. And what comes next proves that even the cleanest-looking choices can carry a hidden, toxic load your body was never meant to handle. Wait until you hear the truth about scallops. 3. Scallops, the hidden heavy metal threat. I'll never forget the look on Robert's face, 68 years old, sharp dresser, still working part-time and trying hard to eat clean. He told me proudly, "Doc, I skip the fried stuff. I go for scallops now, light, tender, no butter." But here's what most men like Robert don't know. Those innocent-looking scallops can quietly flood your body with something far worse than fat. Toxic heavy metals, especially cadmium. Scallops are filter feeders. That means they soak up whatever's in their water and store it inside their tissue. Cadmium is one of the worst offenders, a metal that builds up over time in your kidneys, and for older men, that's a serious problem. Our kidneys slow down with age. They filter less. They recover slower. So when cadmium comes in, it tends to stay, and the damage is mostly silent. You won't feel it until it's too late. Over time, cadmium weakens kidney function, increases blood pressure, and disrupts hormone balance. But what hits men hardest is that it begins to interfere with blood vessel function and testosterone metabolism, both essential for maintaining strong, reliable erections and physical stamina. You think you're eating smart, but inside your body, these so-called clean scallops are slowly making you weaker. And don't be fooled by their gourmet appearance. Scallops are also shockingly low in omega-3s, the very fats your brain, heart, and joints desperately need after 60. You're not just missing the benefits, you're taking in risks disguised as fine dining. But if scallops surprised you, just wait until you hear about the seafood that's triggering gout, swelling, and sudden blood pressure spikes, all from a dish you've probably eaten your whole life. Let's talk about squid. 4. Squid, the gout and cholesterol cocktail. A retired firefighter once sat in my office rubbing his swollen knuckles, telling me how he'd been waking up stiff and sore, especially in his joints. "I thought it was just old age," he said, but when I asked about his diet, one thing stood out: grilled squid. He ate it often, thought it was a lean, smart choice. Unfortunately, like many men, he had no idea what that chewy white meat was doing inside his body. Squid is loaded with cholesterol, nearly 200 milligrams in just 3 ounces. That's more than 2/3 of your daily limit in a single small serving. And while younger bodies might bounce back from that after 60, it's a very different story. Your liver slows down, your arteries stiffen, and your body becomes far more sensitive to cholesterol. What once seemed harmless now becomes a ticking time bomb for your heart and your erections. But cholesterol isn't the only problem. Squid is also high in purines, compounds that break down into uric acid. And when uric acid builds up, it can crystallize in your joints, leading to gout, an intensely painful condition that affects more men after 60 than you might think. One minute you're eating what feels like a healthy meal, and the next you're waking up with inflamed toes, stiff knees, and a body that just won't move the way it used to. So if you've been choosing squid thinking it's good for your heart or waistline, it's time to reconsider. It may be setting off more fires in your body than you realize. But here's the good news. Not all seafood harms you. In fact, some marine foods do the exact opposite. They fight inflammation, rebuild blood flow, and help restore the power you thought was gone for good. Let's explore the 4 best seafoods men over 60 should eat, starting with one that's rich in collagen and used for centuries to support vitality. 1. Sea moss, the collagen catalyst. When I first suggested sea moss to one of my older patients, he looked at me like I was recommending seaweed from the sidewalk. "That stuff?" he laughed. "You sure that's not just a trend?" But 3 months later, he came back with a different tone. His joints didn't ache the way they used to. His skin looked firmer, and most surprisingly to him, his energy, especially in the bedroom, had started to return. Sea moss isn't hype. It's history and science finally catching up with each other. Sea moss, also known as Irish moss, is a mineral-rich marine plant that contains over 90 trace nutrients your body needs, many of which are hard to absorb from food alone as you age. But what makes sea moss special isn't just its nutrient count, it's what those nutrients help your body do. After 60, your natural collagen production drops significantly. That's why joints stiffen, skin sags, and yes, erectile tissue loses its strength. Sea moss is one of the most effective natural sources of collagen building blocks like proline, sulfur, and vitamin C. It doesn't just support your manhood, it helps your body rebuild it from the inside out. It's also packed with iodine and fiber-rich mucilage, which support thyroid health, smooth digestion, and help calm internal inflammation. 3 issues most men silently struggle with. You can blend it into a morning smoothie or stir a spoonful into warm tea. Over time, it gently restores the system's age tries to break down. But if sea moss sounds impressive, wait until you hear about the shellfish that fights joint pain, sharpens circulation, and delivers one of nature's most potent testosterone-supporting minerals in every bite. Let's talk about oysters. 2. Oysters, the testosterone charger. I once had a patient in his late 60s, a retired teacher named Harold, who came to me feeling drained. "Doc," he said, "my energy's shot, my workouts feel heavier, my recovery's slower, and honestly, I'm not the man I used to be behind closed doors." We ran labs. His testosterone was low, his zinc levels were even lower. I asked him if he liked oysters. He nodded, surprised. "Haven't had them in years." So I told him to bring them back, not as a treat, but as medicine. Oysters are one of the most powerful natural testosterone boosters available to older men. Just 2 medium oysters contain more than 100% of your daily zinc requirement. And zinc isn't just for immunity, it's essential for hormone production, sperm quality, prostate function, and yes, maintaining strong, lasting erections. As we age, zinc absorption decreases and deficiency becomes common, silently sapping our drive, energy, and confidence. But oysters don't stop at zinc. They're rich in vitamin B12, which protects your nerves and supports energy metabolism. They provide selenium, which safeguards your thyroid, and copper, a trace mineral vital for red blood cell production and bone strength. One study even showed men with higher copper intake had stronger bones and fewer fractures in their 70s. More than just a food, oysters act like a natural multivitamin crafted by the sea, uniquely suited to restore what aging depletes. The taste might be bold, but the results speak for themselves. Now, if you're wondering whether there's a seafood that can ease your joint pain and rebuild the very cartilage in your knees, you're about to discover a little-known shellfish that does exactly that, and it comes from the cold waters of New Zealand. Let's talk about green-lipped mussels. 3. Green-lipped mussels, the joint and circulation master. Frank was a former construction worker in his 70s. Strong hands, a quiet presence, but when he sat across from me, his knees told a different story. "They creak like old floorboards with jam," he joked. "Mornings are the worst." He didn't want another pill, he wanted something real. I introduced him to green-lipped mussels, not just any mussels, but a special kind that comes from the cold, clean waters of New Zealand. These mussels are unlike anything you'll find at the local seafood counter. What makes them remarkable is a rare omega-3 fatty acid called ETA. short for eicosapentaenoic acid. It's more powerful than the common omega-3s you get from fish oil, and it works by blocking an enzyme that causes inflammation in your joints and blood vessels. For a man over 60, that means less stiffness, less swelling, and more freedom to move, bend, and even walk with ease again. One study found that older adults who took green-lipped mussel extract for 12 weeks reported a 42% drop in joint pain and significant improvement in physical function. But that's not all. These mussels are loaded with zinc, selenium, iodine, and iron, nutrients that support energy, thyroid health, and healthy blood flow, especially in those hard-to-reach areas where circulation tends to fade. Frank called me 3 months later. "Doc, I'm back in my garden. I can kneel again." His voice had a quiet pride I won't forget. If your joints have been slowing you down, this might be the food that turns things around. But there's one more seafood I want to share. It's not a shellfish or a plant, and it's been used for centuries to heal pain, strengthen the body, and restore youthful resilience from the inside out. Let's talk about sea cucumber. 4. Sea cucumber, the joint protector and circulation builder. The first time I recommended sea cucumber to a patient, he paused, raised an eyebrow, and said, "Is that even food?" I smiled and told him it's not just food and it's medicine from the ocean. Sea cucumber isn't flashy. It's not something you'll see on a restaurant special, but for older men who struggle with joint pain, stiffness, or declining physical resilience, it might be one of the most powerful natural tools we have. This strange-looking marine animal is rich in chondroitin sulfate, the same compound found in joint support supplements, but in a natural form your body can absorb more easily. It also contains triterpene glycosides, compounds that help reduce chronic inflammation without the harsh effects of over-the-counter pain meds. In fact, studies have shown that regular consumption of sea cucumber extract can reduce joint pain by over 30% and improve flexibility in just a few months. But what makes sea cucumber truly special is how it supports blood flow and tissue repair. Its collagen-like compounds help restore elasticity, not just in your knees or shoulders, but in the small blood vessels that power your most intimate function. Men who eat sea cucumber regularly often report not only less pain, but stronger energy, better skin, and yes, renewed confidence in the bedroom. It's usually simmered slowly in soups or stews, and while it takes a little time to prepare, the results are well worth the effort. It's the kind of quiet healer most men overlook, but those who try it rarely turn back. Now that you've seen the worst seafoods stealing your strength and the 4 best foods quietly bringing it back, let's bring it all together, because what you do next could change the way you feel for the rest of your life. Conclusion. I've seen it too many times, men in their 60s and 70s blaming age for everything, not realizing it's often the food quietly working against them. Shrimp, imitation crab, scallops, and squid may look harmless, even healthy, but inside your body they can stiffen your arteries, inflame your joints, and chip away at the vitality you fought to hold on to. The good news is the ocean also offers healing. Sea moss, oysters, green-lipped mussels, and sea cucumber can restore blood flow, rebuild tissue, and bring energy back where you need it most. I've watched patients transform simply by changing what's on their plate. You don't need more pills, you need better choices. Start today, not out of fear, but because you still deserve to feel like a man. Strong, capable, alive. Your next meal can either work against you or begin to restore everything you thought was gone.